Hey guys, it's Tyson Johnson with the Six Pack Dad Tribe. I was just telling the guys on this Zoom call that these two events a year are hands down my most favorite events. The purpose of this is called our Hall of Fame event. We typically do it June and December. And it's basically to recognize busy professional dads who still have goals and things they want to accomplish with their health, but so far they're between their 6 to 13 month mark in this journey and have had extraordinary success. And I think what you'll find is these are normal guys doing extraordinary things with their life, and they are willing to give up some of their time and share and give back. So super excited to recognize these guys. And as I told you guys, we have a small gift that I'll be mailing you. So let's start off, if I could ask Brooke to begin, just kind of lightning round here. Your name, your age, your profession, family, any and all of that, just so we can get to know you a little better.
Yeah, my name is Brooke Sabin. I'm 32, about to turn 33. I'm a software engineer, CTO of a small kind of startup company. We're about 20 employees now. Married, and I've got 5 kids.
Welcome, Brooke. Sounds good. How about you, Wayne?
Wayne Kennedy, just turned 62, and I'm an engineering consultant. I kind of dabble in efficiency. I teach railroads how to conserve diesel fuel through the application of technology and aerodynamics. Been consulting now for about 5 or 6 years after a career with Union Pacific Railroad, and married with 5 children, and we're just coming up on being empty nesters. Our youngest child is heading off to finish university up in Wisconsin.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nathan.
I'm Nathan. I am 39 years old, and I work in the fintech space, doing like financial brokerage trading. And I have 6 young kids, ages 11 and under.
Wow.
You have all kinds of time on your hands, I'm sure. Congratulations. Good for you. Brent.
Brent Andrewson. I am 52 as of this week. And professionally, I'm an attorney, a tax attorney. I specialize in nonprofits and high net worth estate planning, and have a wife and 4 children and 2 grandchildren. So oldest is 30, youngest is 20. We were empty nesters for a few months, and then daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter just moved back in. So short-lived, but good.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
So guys, we got ages 32 to 62 covered and everything in between. That's what makes this one pretty fun. So Brooke, back to you. Think about, let's see, and also when you guys answer this question, think about how long roughly you've been in the tribe. I have this data, but it's your story to tell. So think about roughly how long you've been in the tribe, and if you could tell us. And then think about like what was going on in your life at that point that like prompted you to want to join the tribe and improve your health.
Yeah, so I've got 5 young kids, ages 10 and under, and I think it's a pretty common story, right? Like get out of college, get married, start having kids, start working, life just gets crazy busy, and next thing you know, you're super overweight and stressed out, and just aren't enjoying a lot of the activities you used to do. Like I grew up super active, doing things like rock climbing and dirt biking and hiking and triathlons and rugby, and yeah, I've been in the tribe about a year now. And I'd gone skiing with some friends back in like I think it's January or February of last year, and like my snowboarding jacket couldn't fit anymore. I'd get to the bottom of the run and I was just laying on the ground, so out of breath and exhausted. And I think honestly for me, I was just so fed up, right? Like I've got to start prioritizing my health, because prioritizing all these other things might be good for the short term, but if I'm not healthy, I'm not going to be around for the long term for my kids and being able to enjoy things with them. So I think I just got mad enough that I decided to make a change.
Thanks for sharing. Wayne, how about you? Roughly how long you been in the tribe, and basically the lightning round of what was going on that prompted you to join?
Right. Uh, Happily 10 months in. And I think the real reason, communications that we had, Tyson, in terms of, insulin sensitivity and the fact that you knew what that was, and, a lot of research that I had done in the past. I think losing and gaining the same 10 to 15, 20 pounds over and over again, and not really knowing exactly the information that's out there, what was true, what was less true. So I just really wanted to go to the source and to have that accountability. That's really what sold me on the program, was that accountability. And for the first time in a long time, I've been able to stick with success and continue. I plan on continuing that far into the future.
Thanks, Wayne. We'll come back to results that you guys have seen in a second, but glad you found us 10 months ago, roughly. Nathan, then Brent.
Yeah, thanks, Tyson. I was still feeling kind of okay, I think, which is different than some of the folks that had come to you. I was just starting to feel the effects of some of my poor eating habits and whatnot, like just not sleeping as well. That was just starting to set on with me. And I just got really motivated by sort of the educational emphasis in your program. And I wanted to sort of intervene early. So I was motivated by a deep desire for knowledge about nutrition, health, exercise, and trying to prevent rather than repair later. And so that's what finally got me over the edge.
Neat. A preventative approach, proactively. That's awesome. Brent?
So I've been in for, I guess this will be about 10 months. It was September of last year. And a couple things prompted me. My wife had cancer 2 years ago, and thankfully is on the other side of it, cancer free. But with that came some needed adjustments to her lifestyle, which she went and sought out a new primary care physician just a couple months before I joined this. And so that got me thinking that I really should do something on my own. But the funny part of the story was what truly motivated me. I was in Costa Vida with my family, and my granddaughter, age 4 at the time, reaches her hand up to my belly and says, "Grandpa, are you going to have a baby?" And I consider myself like decently fit all things considered. And I realized, no, I'm not getting any younger. Things start adjusting as you get older. And kind of like Nathan said, it's probably time to be preventive and just stay ahead of the game, because otherwise your grandkids think you're pregnant. So
I'm developing all kinds of marketing ideas with people at the bottom of ski slopes, shaming people who are lying there on the ground out of breath, and then young grandkids who will go and pat grandpa's stomach and hand him a business card, and they'll be paid affiliates of mine. So ingenious, guys. Thanks for the marketing ideas. No, but it's good for you, Brent. That's awesome. It's always interesting to hear what motivates person, and it's oftentimes a different story, but there's some kind of catalyst for change, whether it's proactive or whatever it is. So let's do your best to recap what you've seen in terms of results. And just to kind of help you out here, this could be total pounds changed, which I have all that here if you need help. It could be waist inches changed. It could be current body fat percent. But then I'd also love to hear sleep, energy, back pain, just like any noticeable stuff that you're celebrating today as a part of this journey. No right or wrong answer. Brooke, anything you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, huge changes for me. I've dropped about 50 pounds, about 10% in body fat, give or take a little. I got up to the point where I was in like double XL t-shirts when in college I was in mediums. And so I'm back down to like XL larges. Um, yeah, in terms of just how I feels so much better. Like I can go through the whole day feeling like I have a lot more energy. Um, as a software engineer in general, but also in a startup, sleep is a rare commodity. I end up doing a lot of late nights and a lot of extra work and things, and I'm still not getting as much sleep as I should be, but I can deal with the effects of that a lot better, right? Like before, I'd get stressed out, worn out, want to just be binging on junk food to try and cope with all that stress. But now, I can, even the nights when I still don't get a full night's sleep, I can still get through my workday feeling totally fine, get a lot done. I don't, lose my temper at my kids as much. Sitting at a desk all day, I used to have a lot of like hip flexor pain and back pain, and all of that's gone. So yeah, tons and tons of improvements all across the board.
Congratulations. And most of us who are fathers, I don't know about you guys, but if I had to say one of the most meaningful things about what Brooke just said, relationship with kids, patience with kids, I don't know how you put a price tag on that. Not to mention everything else. So how special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wayne, what do you got for us?
Yeah, down probably 15 pounds of pure fat, and then probably gained about 5 pounds of pure muscle, which is great. I think I've lost about 5 inches off my waist, during the cut phase, and that's fantastic. In terms of the ancillary benefits, two young grandchildren, ages boys 5 and 7, and they're over a few times a week, and being able to run around the yard and do crazy things with them without feeling like I'm going to pass out is a huge benefit. I also am very much into cycling and a lot of hills around where we live, and there's a 10-mile loop around a lake. And I'm just able, my endurance is just significantly better with biking, makes it more enjoyable. I don't feel like, there's always gas in the tank at the end of my ride, whereas before I felt like I was going to keel over. So definite big benefits there.
Awesome. Nathan.
So I've been in the program for 6 months and I'm down 24 pounds. And I'm at 13% body fat. I've added, I went into phase 2, the muscle building phase, about 3 months ago, and I've added about 5 pounds of muscle and a couple inches just off the waist and midriff and everything for me. And it's been like a monumental change in my life to go through this. I felt all the sleeping and health benefits that the others mentioned, but just some slightly different things for me is I have a much better relationship kind of with food and my health now. Like I really feel like I understand what I'm putting in my body. I understand how to read nutrition labels now, how to judge, what certain foods will do to me. I also feel a lot less guilt, around eating, like even foods that are indulgence or traditionally junk foods or sweets, because I just feel a lot of confidence about that I'm putting the right amount of it in at the right times, and it's well balanced with plenty of good and healthy foods as well. So that's been good. And one other positive impact I've noticed is my my family has totally come along the journey with me, which has been really positive. Like everyone in the house is eating better now, because we just have this education about food that was lacking before, and that traditional, food pyramid style education wasn't giving us. But now I think we all are elevating what we eat and what we buy and put in our bodies.
Creating a generational health transformation that started with Nathan. Quick side note, Doug Stoddard, so grateful you would join us. Your dear friend, changed my life. As Nathan was talking about neuroscience, relationship with food, guilt, shame. Doug, thanks for all you've done for the tribe these years and the work you're doing in your community as well, and honored you'd be here with us today.
Thank you. It's good to see faces and
Bet.
hear stories.
Before we go to Brent, just real quick, because we will have people who are not tribe members who might not be familiar with what phase 2 means. We generally have 4 milestones we're trying to help people accomplish, or as far as they want to go on this path. We don't force anything, but generally one of the first milestones is let's help someone in hopefully about 12 weeks time be down 20 pounds as a sustainable lifestyle, or 3 inches off their stomach. Milestone number 2 is reaching and maintaining one's lean goal weight, which is very different than a quick 20 pounds off. Milestone 3 is actually the 10 to 15% body fat mark, which is where the belly fat is gone. We've got several on this call, right? Even a 62-year-old who has achieved that remarkably. And then what Nathan and Wayne have talked about, putting on muscle, that's what we call milestone 4, which is kind of the muscle growth aspect once someone has gotten as lean as possible. So that's partly why several of you were chosen here, is you're working on all 4 milestones, and you're maintaining it long term. And that's truly an elite level of health, because I know a lot of you are servant leaders and you've already discussed you're busy professionals with kids. So doing this in spite of your other personal life is just remarkable. Brent, over to you. Any victories you'd share with us?
So yes, I have had some similar results to those that have been shared. I probably, from the start of it, I was at near my highest weight, and I've lost about 25 pounds, 5 or 6 inches around the waist, body fat percentage hovering between 15 and 16%. And I had, I had actually done about a year before or maybe it wasn't quite a year, but maybe 8 or 9 months before starting the program, I'd gone and done a DEXA body scan. A group of guys that I run with had wanted to do that, and it was shocking to find out that I was 30% body fat. And everyone who heard that statistic was shocked, because sometimes you can be quote unquote skinny fat. I didn't look like I was 30% body fat. So one of the fun things throughout this whole journey was one of those same friends said, "Hey, you're noticeably different. Why don't we go back and do a DEXA body scan?" Because it hadn't done one. And so it was great to go in and do that at the time, to have lost demonstrably between those 2 tests about 26 pounds of fat, put on almost 10 pounds of muscle. And again, since that scan, lost about another 4 pounds, and am kind of pre-phase 2, just working on maintenance, because I had a really super busy May. June is not much different with some church and other responsibilities that I've got. And so kind of waiting to get into phase 2 when I can not be traveling as much and a little bit more focused. But I felt great. It's like Wayne said, running around with the grandkids is fun. Some of my church responsibilities involve working with the youth. It's been really fun to, go toe to toe with some of our athletes that are in their 16 to 18 range, and have them just, wait, how'd you just beat us playing basketball or doing something else? And they think old people can't do things. So it's kind of fun to engage.
Who says we have to get unhealthy and lethargic and slow as we age?
Right.
It's awesome. Thanks, Brent.
And my granddaughter doesn't think I'm pregnant anymore. So
yeah, yeah, it's awesome. So I've got 2 more questions, and then we'll pause the recording and let you guys say hi to other Hall of Famers or any other quick questions. Brooke, as you think about the last year, 13 months, what's like one main obstacle, if you had to boil it down to one main obstacle or challenge that you experienced, and what you felt helped you overcome that? Again, just sort of lightning round here.
Yeah, I think if I can be indulgent and say 2, one was actually a lot of sickness, surprisingly. Like, in a house full of a lot of little kids, they bring home a lot of stuff. And so it felt like, especially over the winter, like every other week we were sick with something. I actually got pneumonia over Christmas, and then got pneumonia again a month ago. And luckily that's all cleared up, but um, just having to, throughout those sicknesses, try and stay consistent and not use that as an excuse to just be like, ah, well, I'll just eat whatever now, right? Or I don't need to try and get my steps in, or I don't need to try and do anything right. Like, it can be good to give yourself some rest and some slack when you need it, when they're um, special circumstances, but making sure you're not just giving yourself a hall pass to do whatever you want. And then the second other really big one, right? And I brought this up a couple times, is just been dealing with stress, right? Stress with work and family and church and all the sort of things that we have to balance, right? And I think for me, food was my coping mechanism for stress. And so it's been really, really good to uh, notice that and be honest about that and just say that out loud and like work on the mentality of that, of not turning to other things like food when I'm stressed out, but try and find healthier outlets of that stress, in good quality family time, in prayer and devotion, and actually accomplishing things to like reduce those stressful things in my life. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I think those struggles would resonate with probably about 99% of busy professional fathers who will listen to this. So admire you working through that. Wayne, how about you?
Yeah, I've got two good examples also. Probably because I'm older and too aggressive sometimes with weights during the build phase. The past few months, I'd get sprains and strains that, were common from the distant past, before I joined the tribe, that I'd always kind of get discouraged and kind of give up. And my coach just walked me through and said, well, pull back on the weight, try this, maybe modify the approach in terms of how you're doing the exercise, or maybe just swap out a different exercise entirely. So, walked me through that to the point where still making progress. The other example is went through some surgery recently, nothing serious, but they said, really lay off the weights or at least pull back significantly for at least a couple of weeks. So again, my coach, helped walk me through that, helped me understand that, I can do a lower amount of weight and not feel like I'm losing progress or momentum. And now that that's kind of behind me, we're, getting back to the same levels of reps and weights and where we want to be to continue making progress.
Thank you. Quick comment. Iowa State Wrestling has one of the most winning college wrestling programs of all time in the country for collegiate wrestling. One of the things they teach their players is if you have a plan and plan A doesn't work, then they teach their players to immediately go to plan B. And so it's this avoiding all or nothing thinking and thinking, what can I still do to still win and score points, even if it's far from perfect. And I love how both Brooke and Wayne, that's what's allowing you to pivot and stay resilient and not just quit. Love it. Nathan and then Brent.
Yeah, I had two things come to mind. One was just that for me, a challenge was overcoming my willful ignorance on certain things and just being willing to face the truth. And that often was something that, when I was in a roadblock, it was because I wasn't willing to acknowledge, a weakness or a habit that I wasn't ready to let go of yet. So I had to work through a lot of those. And the other just more specific challenge for me was I didn't appreciate how much my food and consumption habits were connected to my social habits, and just getting really conscientious about when I was eating and why I was eating, and how my social agenda was connected to that. So I started to pay a lot more attention to that and think about, the way I was going to interact with people or connect. And that's still like I'll say my highest calorie days or my highest sugar days are usually connected with some social outing on the agenda.
Yeah. Thank you. Brent.
since we got a trend going of two things, I'll mention that I actually love sweets. I mean, I grew up, my mom wanted us all to learn how to cook, and we all ended up gravitating towards learning how to make desserts. And so love sweets. And the challenge I found was whether social or work settings, how prevalent setting out sweets is. I mean, there probably isn't a day that goes by here at the office that somebody doesn't bring in donuts or cake somewhere, or there's a jar of candy, and it's everywhere. And so being much more conscientious of that and discipline. And that's what I told Tyson when I started. So I need accountability, because I do really, really well with accountability. So I didn't realize, though, it would still be that much of a challenge to see it constantly there and then have to put it off. But like Nathan shared earlier, it's been really healthy, though, to realize, yeah, but you know what I can do, because I do love ice cream, is take a bite of ice cream, get a nice, get that flavor, get something when I'm feeling like I want it, and stop there instead of the giant bowl that was probably 500 or 600 calories that I didn't even think about. So that's been really good. The other is the same one as Wayne. I'm still kind of nursing some shoulder tendonitis and some tendonitis in an arm, and somehow doing some exercise. About 6 weeks ago, I pulled something in my lower abdomen. So just nursing a little bit of an injury and actually recognizing when I'm exacerbating injury versus just working through pain, that is okay. And so that's been actually really good, because in the times past, I might have kind of said, oh, I'm just going to give up for a few months or a few weeks until I feel better, and just recognizing, well, no, when I can push through some of it, it's not re-injuring or causing injury. It's just working through the pain. So
thank you for sharing. Guys, you've been fantastic. We have about 5 minutes left. If we could close with basically a parting thought. If you were, let's pretend you have a brother, a loved one who were listening to this right now and is wanting to improve their health and is in some form of suffering or struggling, what's one piece of advice you would offer that loved one or friend to have the courage to fix their health now, even if they don't have time and if they're scared to do it? Brooke, any thought on that?
Yeah, I think it's important to be honest that it's going to be hard, but that's okay. Like, we're born to do hard things, and we can do hard things. And to not give up. Like, progress is not going to be linear. There's going to be setbacks. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it in the end. So don't give up.
Simple but profound. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, I think the accountability it is a game changer, because every day I understand and I accept that I need to report to my coach at some point at the same time every week, and I'm not going to rest on my laurels or have that 1,000-calorie bowl of ice cream, because I respect my coach enough that I want to give him a good report, and I respect the progress that I've made enough that I don't want to backtread. And another key learning is introducing more movement. I think I was probably average before joining the tribe. I might get 3,000 to 5,000 steps in a day. Now I'm between 10,000 to 12,000 a day, and that was kind of a breakthrough for me in terms of continuing to lose weight, was introducing that steps challenge. And it doesn't have to be instantly; it can just be over time, gradually. And now, it's hard for me not to get 10 to 12,000 steps, because I've just built it into my routine. And I think I'm going to do that for as long as I possibly can, which is hopefully many, many decades still to come.
I smile when people with engineering backgrounds explore, because Wayne has that. And no offense if you're not an engineer, I'm not, but they tend to have such a structured, methodical, patient mind. It just becomes a true superpower in the tribe. We've seen it dozens of times. So it's fun to hear an engineer talking right there. Good for you. Nathan.
I think like a key takeaway for me is you're gonna end up paying one way or the other, and you can pay now or you can pay later, and that the price, today is the best day to start for that payment. And what I found is, just the total unexpected benefit for me was, I think a lot of people start thinking this is only about weight, or this is only about, getting some pant sizes down, but it's like a total lifestyle makeover. It completely impacted my weight and my strength, but it also impacted my relationships, my perspective of myself, my commitments, my attitude about, life and opportunities and stuff. So there's a lot of hidden treasures in getting this part of your life in order.
Brent.
What immediately came to mind for me, years ago, a religious leader said, in speaking with respect to making good choices that are for your good, do it. And of course, Nike has trademarked the phrase, just do it. And that's what I would tell anybody. You don't have anything to lose other than things you probably should lose, and a lot to gain. And it's been great for me. So just do it.
Thank you, Brent. Let me offer a quick closing word and we'll close this out, but don't go anywhere when I hit stop recording. I get a little bit emotional on these events because for those of you who are entrepreneurs and you start something from scratch, it's a huge leap of faith. And I've been doing it for 7 years now, and it's still a side hustle. And most of the time it's not convenient for me. I don't have the time to do it, but I choose to do it. And one of the things I tell Sherry, my wife, all the time is I get to meet people and learn from these people and become better. And I would never meet these people without the tribe. And today is an example of 4 guys who have kind of become friends. And we just honor and recognize you and where you're going with your life, the people who are watching. And if there's others who are listening to this and anything here has been inspiring, please reach out to us. We'd love to serve you. So that puts another Hall of Fame episode in the books. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere.